Hey guys, it's day 19 of the New Testament in 90 days. Today's text that we get to read is Luke chapters 13 through 15. It is an interesting section of text, at least it was to me when I was reading it. There was a lot that gets covered, but I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to share with you today because there wasn't anything that really stuck out to me. And so I went back and I read it a second time, and the second reading, something did stick out to me, and it hit me, and I hope it'll hit you too in one way or another. So at the beginning of chapter 15, Luke says, he lets us know that tax collectors and other notorious sinners often came to listen to Jesus teach. So that's just the first verse of chapter 15. And the reason why it stuck out to me was it was very interesting that people that would have been considered far from God were very attracted to Jesus. For whatever reason, what he was saying drew a crowd of people that maybe what we would consider today like a typical church service or whatever wouldn't have drawn people into. And I thought that was really interesting. And right after Luke says that, he recounts these three stories that Jesus told. And the first one is the parable of the lost sheep, which we've talked about before. Then the second one is the parable of the lost coin, and then the parable of the lost son. And in each of those stories, basically Jesus is saying, if one sheep is lost, a shepherd will leave the 99. So there's a group of 100 sheep. The shepherd will leave the 99 to go after the one. In the parable of the lost coin, if a woman had 10 coins and she lost one of them, she would not stop looking until she found her one lost coin. In the parable of the lost son, this man has two sons, and one son remains really faithful to him and the other son doesn't, and he goes off and he wastes all of his money and kind of lives his own way before realizing that he has done something wrong and comes back to his father. And in every single instance, Jesus is trying to get people to understand that when someone who is far from God finds their way back to God, there is great rejoicing in heaven. It even says that. In the same way, there is joy in the presence of God's angels when even one sinner repents. He's comparing that to a woman finding that one lost coin. How excited she would be. There's rejoicing in heaven when one sinner comes back. And I don't know if maybe this is why people were really drawn to Jesus, because he was making them understand that God is waiting for them to come back. The religious teachers of the day probably would have made people feel like, clean up your act. God is angry. And Jesus is showing a different side of God, that he's righteous. Yes, he's holy. Yes, he's good. But he also is loving. He doesn't want anyone to live apart from him. He wants all of us to find our way back to him. And so that was just really, for me personally, I was thinking, am I reflecting the heart of God in that way to people? And I don't know if I am, or I'm not. I'm not sure. It just kind of gave me personally a little something to consider. Am I, the way that I reflect God to the world, is it really reflecting God's heart properly? And so I don't know. It kind of hit me. It got me thinking, and I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, if that strikes a chord with you. I know I've mentioned in videos in the past that we tend to hear, when we talk, when we think about Christianity, what's God like, what's Jesus like, what does the Bible say? It's either you are loved, live your life however you want, or clean up your act in order for God to even want you. And neither one of those messages is correct. And I think that that's probably why people were really attracted to Jesus, because he was giving us an accurate view. It was like, you know what? Following Jesus does cost something. I mean, just before chapter 15 and chapter 14, Luke recounts like Jesus saying, if you want to be my disciple, you have to hate everyone else by comparison. So following Jesus is costly. But then there's this heart of God that's like, please come. Like, if you come to me, you're going to experience life and our relationship is going to be restored. And he's a loving father that wants to be in relationship with his kids. And so, so I'm wondering if that is why people loved listening to Jesus, because I think we're drawn to love. We're also drawn to something that's a little bit costly, that we're going to have to give up things for. And so anyway, that could be a bunch of ramblings, but that's kind of what stuck out to me. That's kind of what's on my mind at the moment. If you have any thoughts on that, I would love to hear them. If you have any questions, please either leave a comment or shoot me a message. And I don't know, if I don't hear from you today, I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.